Poltergeist 2 was directed by Brian Gibson. This would be Brian Gibson's first and only horror film, and his first and only sequel. He wouldn't direct another feature film for 7 years. The cast from the first film returned. The only family member absent from the film is Dana, who according to the script is off at school, but a scene explaining away her absence was never filmed. Dominique Dunne was murdered by her boyfriend shortly after Poltergeist premiered in 1982. Patrice Straight was asked to reprise the role from the first film, but she was ill and not willing to work at the time. And returning again was Zelda Rubinstein and Will Sampson playing Taylor, and Julian Beck, who played Reverend Henry Kane, who was diagnosed with stomach cancer in late 1983 and died 2 years later on September 14, 1985. After Julian passed away from stomach cancer, several of Beck's lines were dubbed in post-production by noted voice actor Corey Burton. The partially grown vomit creature was performed by stuntman Noble Craig, a triple amputee who lost both legs and an arm while serving in the Vietnam War. Swiss artist H.R. Giger, who designed the alien monster in Aliens, was commissioned by MGM to create several designs for the film. But only 2 designs made it into the film. Some books on his art report that Giger is very unhappy with how his designs were translated to the film. The film was at one point to have been filmed in 3D. Several scenes such as the appearance of the Beast and the flying chainsaw were filmed to take advantage of the process. Unbeknownst to most of the cast and crew, several of the cadavers were real skeletons. Upon learning of this, the crew demanded an exorcism to be held on the set to ease the rising tensions. The exorcism was performed by Will Sampson, who was a real-life shaman for several different groups before his death in 1987. Studio security was instructed to leave the set unlocked and unguarded so Sampson could return in the middle of the night to perform the exorcism. Many believe there is a poltergeist curse surrounding all 3 films in the series because real skeletons were used in the first film. Dominique Dunne was murdered by her boyfriend after finishing the first film. Will Sampson died from complications due to open-heart surgery shortly after filming. Julian Beck died of stomach cancer after shooting the second film. And Heather O'Rourke died of a mystery case of intestinal stenosis shortly before the completion of the third film. Poltergeist 2: The Other Side was filmed mostly in California and Arizona. Poltergeist 2: The Other Side was released on May 23, 1986. Although it was financially successful, Poltergeist 2: The Other Side proved to be a box office disappointment when compared to its predecessor. Nevertheless, the film still grossed a respectable $40 million at the United States box office. This film and its successor were rated PG-13 by the MPAA. The original was rated PG, as there was no PG-13 rating at the time. Poltergeist 2 was nominated for an Academy Award in 1987 for Best Visual Effects, as well as a Saturn Award for Best Special Effects and Best Horror Film. Poltergeist 2 was released on VHS in 1987. MGM released Poltergeist 2 on DVD for the very first time on August 26, 2003 in a double feature collection along with Poltergeist 3. And on January 31, 2017, Scream Factory released a Blu-ray collector's edition of the film. I hope you've enjoyed this brief look at Poltergeist 2: The Other Side. Join me next time as we take a brief look at Poltergeist 3.